Yeah. Everybody ready to rock, ready to ride? It is what it is with Triggz. Yeah, boy. I'll put this up on mute. Hello. All right. First, before we move forward, just want to give big shout out, big love to all my sponsors. Yes, we're coming to this right now. my man. Zoom Car Wash, Limited Bags and Boxes, Aussie Tires, Confidential Cosmetics, Quick Smart Electric, Dealer Car Sales, and Will Hub. My love and respects to each and every one of yous. And everybody knows that without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this right now. These guys are still calling through, but please guys don't call through because I don't collaborate. I don't get interviewed, none of that stuff. I just talk what I talk, but so please don't call through, yeah? And so to all my sponsors, my love and respect to you guys, because these are the guys that helped with not only putting together this live. They're the ones that helped with everything throughout my life since I got out. You know, the people that I have in my life, for example, Ahmed and his family introduced me to a lot of these guys as well, and my brother 212 Heat, who also introduced me to a lot of these guys. Very humble businessmen. And without these businesses that are supporting me, I wouldn't be able to do this picture perfect, you know. I'm still learning, as you all know. Liam, appreciate you. I don't know nothing about social media, so it's pretty much my wife and my team that's putting this all together. My thing is, I just tell my story with the hope that the younger generation learn from it. Simple as that. If you're clipping or screen recording, show the love. You all know where it's at. Tag me. I don't really understand the dynamics around all this stuff. So when I'm saying it, I'm just asking, and that's all my team expects. You know, working together, people power. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Before we move forward, I really have to how do I put it? Like, I really have to put a nail in something that's happened, I think probably about 6 or 7 weeks ago, yeah? I got online and obviously you guys heard, like I've read out 7 sponsors who have helped me out, and obviously like I've done my part, you know? And without these sponsors, my team aren't able to do what they do for me. And also, when I sponsor footy teams and artists, it's a lot of the money is coming from these sponsors that sponsor me, because the money that I receive, I don't go splurging. I literally use this money for good. All right. Now, my issue is this. About 6 weeks ago, someone reached out to my team. Is Anais Establishment Luxury Car Rentals. So that's Anais. A-N for Nelly, A-Y-S, and A-Y-Z, Anais. Anais Establishments Luxury Car Rentals. So this company, they provide luxury cars, yeah? They reached out to my manager and said that they wanted to work with me, collaborate, and it was a young girl, I think mid-30s, and her name's Carol, yeah? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the last couple of weeks, she's had a lot of issues, yeah? So remember, when I got on here, I gave her company a shout out, obviously, because they were sponsoring us. She had already made a verbal contract with my manager. There was no written contract, because I assumed when she spoke to my manager sent everything through to me, and she said she's a single mum who's been through a lot of struggles, domestic violence, and she built this company on her own, and she explained to me that she had been locked up for fraud and whatnot. But the reason why she was reaching out is because she was starting from scratch, but somehow she established all these luxury cars, and she was building it. Needed someone to help promote it. Yeah, obviously she reached out to my manager to get me to do it, and she said she was willing to pay $2,500 a month, and she was willing to give me one luxury car every month for from Friday till and return on Monday. All right, so the deal she made with my manager was for 1 year. All right, verbal contract. Obviously, I'm gonna trust her because of her story. You know, this is what I hate. Like throughout my whole life, a lot of people keep taking my kindness for weakness. Yeah, and this is what this lady did. So from get go, when I first started my life of crime, I would never take a backward step. Jesse, appreciate you, and I would always speak my truth, and I would always put my best foot forward. Yeah, especially when it comes to people that are in need. And obviously, when this lady explained her story, my manager sent me her phone number. I reached out to her, and then we spoke. So it was a verbal contract, and a verbal contract holds up in court. Yeah. So obviously, my manager's got all the messages between them two, so she can't lie about it. All right. And this is what I'm getting at with the things that I've been talking about. It's with all the younger generation out there to watch out for two-faced people and for people that use you. You know, like a lot of you guys, appreciate you, Jesse. Youngsters will be going through football contracts. You will be going through. If you're a rapper, you'll be put into promo contracts, venue contracts, and obviously management contracts. And there's a lot of things that I know about this because I've been in and amongst the entertainment industry since 2006 when I first started. Yeah, so I know a lot about contracts, you know, and I know for a fact that a verbal contract holds up in court, especially when there's messages galore that show the evidence of what she agreed to. This girl Carol. Yeah. So what happened was she ended up getting some luxury cars that were linked to her company smashed up. All right, guys ran up on her street, and from what she said, they were Assyrian guys. They ran up and they smashed all her windows out, and they gave her a hard time. And when this happened, I had no idea about it. You know, I had already made a deal with her. I was happy with the deal, and I was like, yeah, of course. So from the live that I did that week, shouted out her company, and I posted up her company. She was thankful. She even messaged through and said how appreciative she was because I explained how she was a mom that was struggling, especially from domestic violence, and she came from nothing and made something of herself, you know. And this is what a lot of people always do to me, you know. They target my heart because I have a good heart. Take my kindness for weakness, all right? So I didn't go and get a contract for her to sign because her at face value, you know, very sincere, reliable person, I assumed, all right? And then when that situation happened with her and the Assyrians, where the Assyrians smashed up her luxury cars, or two luxury cars that were linked to her company, she disappeared on me. And I was like, hello. And I was messaging her, calling, no answer. And then I just sent her a gentleman-like message. And I was like, hey, there was a deal that was struck between us. I hope all is good because I haven't heard back from you and I haven't been paid. I was supposed to be paid and a luxury car company was supposed to be given to me that Friday, but I received nothing, all right? She messages back and then she starts sending me videos. Now, I've got all these videos and it's videos of these Assyrian guys smashing up her luxury cars in front of her house, all right? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I go, I can't believe that these boys would do that to someone like you when you're a mum who's struggling and trying to make ends meet, you know? And she was like, yeah. And then she sent me the text messages between her and the Assyrians. And so what happened was the Assyrian boys were complaining that when they took her luxury car, something had occurred, an accident, and then she took their bond money and she kept it. And the Assyrian boys were like, hey, listen, this is the situation. And they said, why did you take so much? That's our bond money. And when I looked at the messages, she went off, like she was like full swearing at them. And I've got all these messages with me, and she was carrying on about how she doesn't give a F. And when I was reading her messages, I said to her, Carol, I go, I understand that you're a strong, independent woman and you've been through a lot. I said, but the guys you're dealing with are gangsters. You cannot talk like this on text messages to boys like this. And she was like, I don't care. I know the Almadines, and the Almadines put these Assyrians in their spot. So I don't give a damn what the Assyrians do. Like the Almadines got my back. I said, all right, I understand this, yeah? And I said, but your luxury car company is there. And you got 2 luxury cars that have just been smashed up. And then these guys are bridging up to you, saying to you, you better give their bond money back. And instead of you giving your bond money back, you've bridged up to them. And I said, how long has it been? No one's fixed your cars. And the last message that she sent me was from the Syrian guys saying to her, we will make your life a living hell. So I said to her, like, you're telling me the Almadines got your back, but these guys, you know, are threatening you like there's no tomorrow. You know, like, I got nothing to do with this, but, you know, I have to get paid, and you have to stick to the deal that we went through, you know. And she's like, I'm so sorry, I can't pay you the money because these guys are giving me a hard time, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I said to her, all right, come and see me at Bankstown, and we'll catch up and we'll talk about it. So she came, she brought all her kids. She had about, I think, 5 or 6 kids. And when she sat with me, I didn't realize it was her. So I originally thought that Carol was a lady that's on the Anais social media page. So people have represented and shouted out her company, like artists and sports stars and whatnot. Yeah. And when I seen her, I was like, far out. Like, all right, she's obviously done deals with these people, so she can't be a person who rips people off. This must just be an incident between her and the Syrians that's stopping her from fulfilling her contract with me. So when she sat before me, explained her story, and I said, so I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you were this young. I thought you were the lady that was on your page. And she was like, nah, that's not me. This is me here. Those are people that shout out my page, and I put up my company with their photos on it. Yeah. I said, all right. I'll go, listen, give me the phone number of these Assyrian boys, because I grew up with the Assyrian boys and I can talk to them. Yeah. We got love and respect between us. So give me the phone number. I'll give them a call. We'll bring them down and let's try to sort it out. So she said to me, yep, I want to work with you. What exactly do you want to do? And I said, so you told me you had a past with drugs and all that stuff. If you really want to change your life, you really want to make sure that that your kids are away from danger and whatnot, I really advise you to move away from that area, start up a new company name, because these guys know who you are now, and just change. Like, stop surrounding yourself with gangsters, you know, because this is why you get yourself in trouble. So apparently these Assyrian boys, they always get cars off her, and then it was just this one incident. Then the way she bridged up, it was like she was a badass gangster, and obviously that's how the clash came about, and her car started getting hammered. And now they were after her actual luxury cars, because apparently she's told me she's got 6 luxury cars that belong to her. And I haven't heard from her yet ever since that meeting, because I told her I would help her, no worries at all. She cut ties, and she got rid of her phone number and disappeared. And then this morning, a post popped up on my thing, and it said it was posted an hour ago, and it was from her company. And I was like, what the hell? So I messaged her and I was like, hey, it's me, Triggz. I still haven't been paid. You came into a contract with me and my manager, and then I told you I would help you with that situation with the Syrian boys. I would sit with them to see if we can sort out a solution. But you just fully cut me off, and after everything that I've done for you and everything that I offered you. And then she messaged me back this long message. Yeah, I'm not going to explain the whole message. I'll post up the message sometime this week so you can all read it for yourself. But pretty much she threatened me and she said to me, I have nothing to hide from anyone. There's nothing for you to expose, because I said to her, look, if you're not going to pay my money and you're not going to stick to the deal that we made, then it's all good. Keep it. But I'm going to make sure that I get on friggin' social media and I highlight the fact that this is the type of person you are, so that no one ever goes to your company again and deals with you and your luxury cars. Because if you're willing to speak this way to gangsters, if you're willing to surround yourself with gangsters, then why would families come to you for cars for their kids, for formals? Like, what happens if the kids go over there and then their windows get smashed down and stuff because it's your cars? So pretty much what she was explaining to me is that Syrian guys were looking for all her luxury cars so they could hammer the hell out of all of her cars to get to shut down her business. And it wasn't because of the money that they wanted back from her. It was because of the way she spoke to them, pretty much belittled them on her messages. And I've got all the messages, and it's pretty bad messages, like the way she bridged up to them. And if you guys don't know, around the world, in Australia, the word dog is a very, very bad word. And she put them on a dog as well, you know. So this is where I'm at now. When I explained to her that I'm going to get on social media and I'm going to expose what she had done, not fulfilling the contract that she made with me and my manager. And also, when I explain this to her, she messages me back and she says, I don't owe you nothing. What you asked for is way more than I can afford. What you want from me, I would never agree to that. And I was like, bro, well, I've got all the messages that you sent to my manager. Everything you said, you agreed to it. I'm not going to argue with her, yeah? I ignored her message and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to get on my platform and I'm just going to say it how it is, you know, because I trusted this lady. Well, she's not really a lady, she's a girl, you know. I trusted her and I gave her my love and respect by saying to her, I'll stick up for her and her kids. And I was willing to put myself on the line by going to sit down with the Syrian boys to see if we could figure out a solution. And I remember when I was talking to my boys about this, and my boys were like, hey, let's just call the main Syrian boys, because the main Syrian boys can just deal with this situation, because we obviously know the main Syrian boys. And I said, nah, there's no need to call the main Syrian boys. I go, this seems like they're all younger boys, yeah? And I said, I'll just go over there and I'll give them $3,000. And I'll just say to them, that's the $3,000 from Carol, and then drop the beef from there. Because at the end of the day, Carol had said to me that she wanted me to back her up all the way with her company, and she was willing to turn her life around by staying away from gangsters. And she said to me she had quit taking drugs and all that stuff. So I was very happy to stick by her. So happy that I told my wife I was going to move Carol down to the area that we were based in. And so she was near us. And then pretty much my whole team would take care of her, because where I stay, I got 4 boys that live on the streets on my right side, and I got 4 boys that live on the streets on my left side, and I got 2 boys that live in apartments probably about 1 kilometer away from me. So we all surrounded with each other, yeah. And I told her I wanted her to stay near me so that all the boys would be able to take care of her, and all the wives and partners of the boys, their kids all go to the high school and the primary school near where we live. And I said to her, all your kids can go to the primary school and we will high school. This is how in depth I went when it came to this girl Carol, yeah, because I wanted her to know how sincere, loyal, and reliable I am. And obviously, she's seen it on social media. That's the only reason why she trusted me to come and see me when I called for her to come and see me. And then there you go. This is what happens, you know, when you go and they're just two-faced people who don't care, you know. So just so you guys know, the name of this place is Anais Establishments Luxury Car Rentals, and the name of this girl is Carol. All right. Just so you guys don't get ripped off and you don't go there and you don't realize that you're going to be dealing with her and gangsters, because she told me that she doesn't deal with gangsters. So here I am on social media saying to you guys, this is the only luxury company where you will never see gangsters around there. And she's an independent woman who survived domestic violence. So all of you should go there and show her support. This is what I said about 6 weeks ago. And then I found out this. So there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm just going to let it out so everybody knows. And then it's on you what you want to do. All right. Moving along, we're going to speak to all the people out there that have been asking me about Nathan Patterson. All right. I didn't grow up with him, but we did go to school together, and we were friends. All right. So we got the story with Nathan Patterson, and we got a story about a girl that I know in Thailand, and then we got our final story will be about someone that threatened my brother 212 Heat with the Albanian gangsters. Wilhelm, appreciate you. And again, to everyone that's sending through gifts, my love and respects to each and every one of you. If I'm not shouting out your names, just know that once I finish telling my story, I will send my love and respects after the stories, because everybody complains when I tell a story and I stop to thank the gifters. But also to everyone that is tapping it up with the likes, I just want to send my love and respects to you guys as well. Before I move forward, I've hit 1 million every time we're 1 million likes every time I've gone. Last week we hit about 600,000. Then I got bombarded with a whole heap of messages after my live with people who are apologizing to me that they didn't tap to support my live with likes. And they explained to me that my story I was telling was so intriguing that they stopped tapping. So for those of you who don't understand, if you're tapping your mobile phone, you're sending me likes, all right? And a lot of people that sent their apologies last week, there's no need to apologize. My love and respect to you for even taking the time to watch my lives. But they said that they actually stopped tapping because my story was so intriguing. So they just watched my live and forgot to tap. And then obviously the parents that support messaged through apologizing and said, it got past half an hour and my fingers were sore from tapping. So you know what? It is what it is with Triggz. My love and respects to each and every one of you that are showing support and turning up to support this live. So this is where we're gonna start. I think we're gonna go with, first off, let's go with the woo. Wilhelm, love you, appreciate you. The votes, yeah, boy. I think we'll start off with the Asian girl that's stuck in Thailand right now. I'm not going to mention her name. She's been through a lot, yeah? The only reason why I'm bringing up this female is because there's a lot of females out there right now, especially young ones, who are running around for the gangs, yeah? So the police usually target the young gangsters, and they target the older boys, and they'll target girls that they see hanging around them, but they don't really look into females, and that's why a lot of females get away with being involved in crime. And the reason why the police don't really target them, so for example, if a girl goes and steals this water bottle from a shop, yeah, and I sent her in there to do it. Just because she stole this water bottle, it doesn't mean that she's guilty. You know, like, the police can see me outside with her doing this, and then obviously I will get charged for telling her to steal this water bottle. This is the reason why a lot of girls get away with crime, is because the police are not stupid. They know that these girls wouldn't conjure up these types of ideas and go and import all these drugs, or organize this big bank robbery. Like, these girls, yes, of course they're smart, but they're not about that life, or they're not about that gang life, all right? So the reason why I thought to myself it's a good story to tell to all you younger generations to learn from is because of all the females that are going in and out of prison right now, especially all these models that I've been seeing all over the Telegraph for the last 3 years. There was a girl, she was on Beauty and the Geek, all right? Her name on there was Jordan. She's been locked up, you know, and a lot of other girls that were in the modeling industry, also girls that were extras on movies, also girls that were involved in luxury companies overseas that tried to import drugs into Australia. They also got arrested. And remember, these girls, not one of them conjured up these ideas, you know, like, they were all working for men who were heavily involved in the gang world. They were all working for heavy. This is the reason why I'm telling you guys this story about this girl in Thailand, all right? So this girl in Thailand, when she was here in Australia, and I've been talking to her for the last couple of weeks here, and she explained to me that her man is obviously a big gangster, and he is now overseas and he's doing his thing in another country, and she's stuck in Thailand, all right? This girl did 2.5 years, and she's very loving and caring, but she explained to me that in the last couple of years that she's disappeared from Australia, not one person has offered a hand of help. Not one person has come over there to visit her. And she said when she was making money, she had so much friends, it wasn't funny. And the reason why she was making so much money was because her boyfriend or her partner at the time was a big gangster who used to give her whatever she wanted. So, for example, she got this amount of drugs, she'll go and she'll give it to her people to sell, and then she'll get back the money. She'll give her cut back to her partner, and then she's got all her profit. And obviously everyone in the underworld, they know that when it comes to Ugdrays, profit is very, very big. This girl is so loving and caring to her friends that she was giving them cars as well, you know, taking them out to dinners and feeding them. You know, you go to dinner, you expect to spend about $200 when you take your family out. This girl was taking them out and spending thousands of dollars because it was luxury fine dining, you know. And this is where I'm getting at. All the money that she made, her friends just used her when she had it, all right? And as soon as she ran away from Australia because of all the heat and because of all the dramas that was happening to her man and herself, boom, everyone in her life just disappeared, yeah? All her closest loved ones. And the only ones that reach out to her is her family members. This is what I'm explaining to all you boys out there, and especially to all you young ladies out there who are in and amongst the gangs right now. I don't give a damn, yeah, if you're just running one little bag of Ugdrays down to Cronulla or down to the city. Remember, when you put yourself in that situation, then don't blame anyone else if the consequences come crashing down on you, all right? I've seen so many girls crying their eyes out on shows on Australian TVs because they got caught for bags, or they got caught for bringing in loads from overseas. Why are you crying now? Why didn't you think about it before you went and did it? You know what I mean? Like this girl that's in Thailand right now, she was tearing up when she was telling me her story, and she was explaining to me that that the worst thing about being in Thailand is being alone. Now, I want you to take yourself and put yourself in a cell. If you're outside right now, take yourself inside your head and put yourself in a cell. Guess how you would feel alone. This is how she feels, but she's not even in prison, all right? This is how she feels, and she's just overseas in Thailand. She's got nothing, no one backing her up. From what I know, there is one girl that always reaches out to her, but this girl can't even afford to go and show her some love. Like, she's taking care of her own kids and her own life, all right? So obviously she has a good excuse for not going above and beyond, because she can't go above and beyond. She has children to look after. And to all you females out there that's what, let me warn you, all right? When you get yourself involved with all these gangbangers and then you get in trouble, like, don't cry. Remember my words. That's all I'm going to say, yeah? I swear to you, I've seen it so many times where females act like gangsters, all right? And as soon as dramas kick off, like, example, there was lingerie waitresses that were having issues with a bikie gang that I knew of, yeah? The lingerie waitress was going out with 3 of these bikies. These 3 bikies were involved in 3 different bikie gangs, and this one lingerie waitress was using all 3 of them. Guess what happened? All 3 of these gang members ended up trying to freaking uche each other, do these ones to each other, over this freaking lingerie waitress, yeah? And this lingerie waitress who was using all 3 of them, she ended up getting punched in the head in the city, and she ended up under the table, crying her eyes out after she got caught out for sleeping with all 3 bikies, yeah, from 3 different bikie gangs. And then it took another lingerie waitress to say to her, if you don't keep your mouth shut, your family is gonna get hurt. So she had to sit there and think like, should I go to the police and tell them, or should I keep my mouth shut? Because my family are going to be targeted. If you don't get involved with gangs, you don't have to make these types of decisions. You won't be in this type of situation if you don't involve yourself in that type of shit. This is what I'm saying to you. All you females out there that's trying to play gangster right now, yeah? Give it up before it's too late. You know, you don't have to listen to me. Who the hell am I? You know, I'm just giving you advice. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, all right? All I'm saying is I've seen it many times where a lot of girls have gotten themselves involved in rubbish, and then they got the nerve to cry later, or they got the nerve to snitch in the guys that they're dating because they didn't want to go to prison, because they didn't want their doors kicked in from the police. You know what I mean? But like I said, you put yourself in that situation, that's what's going to happen. It is what it is with Triggz. All right. Before I move on to the next story, again, guys, I want you guys to tap it up, show some love, because I'm about to bring up this story that every single person has been smashing my inbox with. Nathan Patterson. Apparently, not apparently. Whoa, we'll have. Love you, have. I appreciate you. The votes. Yeah, boy. Facts only, appreciate you. So, everyone that's sending through gifts, my love and respects to each and every one of you. And everyone else, please tap it up. Show some love. Because remember, when I reach that 1 million likes, the TikTok algorithm will push my content more out into the world. And that's what we need. People power to push my content out into the world, because I'm not doing this to show you guys how much of a gangster I used to be. I'm not doing this for notoriety or for the limelight or for money. I'm doing this with the hope that the younger generation learn from it. So you're pumping these likes, the algorithm's going to catch on, and it's going to open me up more to the world. So many more kids will be able to learn from what I'm saying. All right. So the story that's coming up is about Nathan Patterson. So Nathan Patterson and I, we first met when we were going to Henry Vaiusu Tutorial Center. He did message me when I first got out of prison, and he asked me to jump on board with his podcast. But as I explained to him, I don't want to be interviewed with anyone. I don't want to collaborate with anyone. I'm not here for fame or fortune. I'm just here to share my story with the hope that the younger generation from it. When I explained this to Nathan, Nathan was a gentleman. He said, yeah, all good, bro. I appreciate ya. And he let it go. He didn't bother me again about it like a lot of other guys, you know. And there's no issue with people asking and asking again. But I'm very strict with how I want to live my life now, you know. I pick and choose my friends wisely, which is what I explain to all the younger generation out there, you know. Pick and choose your friends wisely. So when Nathan Patterson and I met in Canleyvale Tutorial Center, this is a school for bad kids, you know, kids who were going off the rails. So I got expelled from Fairvale High School and I got sent to Canleyvale Tutorial Center. When I got there, Nathan Patterson also was there, and Bui Tafahema, he was there as well. So all three of us went there. And there's a story that Nathan always tells on his TikToks where he said that I saved him. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what happened with that story, right? I don't know why he had issues with these guys, but I was his friend because I met him at that school. He already had friends because he was a part of a gang called Seng War. This was an Asian gang, yeah? Him and Philly Tapahema, they were in this Vietnamese gang, Seng War. And I assumed that, not that he had pull, but I assumed that he could take care of himself. So I didn't really bother with trying to teach him or trying to bring him on board with me. Appreciate you guys. So I'm inside Playland, and I'm doing my thing. Playland used to be a place at Fairfield where all the kids used to play games, yeah. And then I was in there talking to a mate, and then I walked into a phone shop and I started talking to a guy that owned a mobile shop there called Cash. While I was talking to Cash, someone ran in and yelled at me, Pete, your mate's getting bashed. Your mate's getting bashed. And I was like, who? And I walked outside. I looked across the road and I just seen three boys just going at him. One of them had a trolley pole, so they were smacking him over the head and he was covered up like this. But before I seen that, when I first walked out, the first thing I saw was him getting chased in circles, and there was three guys chasing him. And then he tripped over himself, and then one guy started going to town on him on his head, and another guy was kicking him. I gave my bum bag and stuff to the friend that I was with, and I said, hold it. As I looked around, because remember, I just finished seeing Nathan, and I saw him with his friends, with his gangster mates, yeah? So I was thinking to myself, where's this guy's mates? I'm not going to mention his mates' names because I don't want to put them on show. But all I'm going to say is, when Nathan went down and they started attacking him, all of a sudden his friends disappeared, all right? And this is the same thing that I'm going to explain to you guys week after week after week. I don't care how many times I have to say it. As long as God knows that I'm doing my job by giving you this brotherly advice, then that's all that matters. I don't care if you don't like it or if you're sick and tired of what I'm saying. But you have to understand, Nathan was in one of the biggest gangs, all right? This was an Asian gang called Seng War. And when 5T died out, there was Seng War, there was 14K, there was Red Dragon, there was Live to Honor. Like, these were all the gangs that were up and coming at the time, and Big Circle. And these gangs were like ruthless. Like, it was very, very hard to F with them back in the day because, number one, they were very discreet, and number two, if they wanted you, they'll be coming to get you. Like, you could wait 2 years, yeah, and thinking you're all good. But these guys were like me, bad grudge holders, you know. 2 years may fly by and then all of a sudden you get got. And it's because they didn't forget. So Nathan Patterson was with this gang, all right? When he's on the ground getting hammered by one guy and one guy that was kicking him, there was a third guy like looking out, yeah? Boom. I start running across the road when I realized that Nathan had no friends. Nathan was down like this, so he didn't see me running up to back him up. As I ran, and he was curled up on the ground, covered up, I jumped over him with a fly kick, and I hit the guy straight in the face that had the trolley pole, that was the one that was smacking him. As I hit this guy straight in the face, he flew and then like hit the ground, yeah? Soon as he hit the ground, like, his head hit the ground. So he looked up like that and saw me and he goes, bro, what are you doing like that? And then I turned around to the other two guys. I don't want to mention these two guys' names because we are now friends, yeah? And I don't really want to explain what I did to these two guys that day because I don't want to put them on show. They are now family men, yeah? And also the guy that I kicked, he apologized to me after this situation had occurred. And he explained to me that Nathan was the one that started it. I don't know who started it. I didn't care who started it because at the time I was just backing up my Aussie mate, all right? And then when I turned around to all three guys and I was like saying, what? Out of the blues, one of the older boys came and he clocked the guy that was hitting him with the trolley pole as well, and he got laid out. And when I say laid out, he got laid out. And then I thought to myself, hang on a sec, you were with Nathan, and where were you? I was looking around for you when when he was getting jumped, but then he came when I jumped in. This is the thing that I don't like, yeah, with a lot of these younger boys that are up and coming now in the gang world. On their own, they're like little pussies, yeah? But as soon as they're with their group, all of a sudden, their shoulders are up here. All of a sudden, their chest is out here, you know? And they're walking around, deaf staring everyone, you know? The king of the streets, the king of the prison yards. Like, this is the way they are. So, when that situation had occurred that day, and his mate came out, I didn't say anything, because I remember when I walked off, they were together, you know? And obviously, Nathan's with a big gang. And I didn't say nothing because Nathan didn't see what I did. So Nathan's head was too busy down the whole time I was doing my attacking, yeah? And this is what I have to say is when Nathan got up, he actually didn't realize at the time that it was me that saved him. He turned around to the guy that came after and thanked him and didn't thank me. I just walked away. All I said was, are you all right? He goes, yeah. So you good? He said, yeah. Then I saw the police coming and then I took off. It was no issue anyway because these three guys were the ones jumping him and I just jumped in to help him. And then he didn't even realize it was me that helped him until later when everyone started explaining to him, bro, it was Pete that did the fly kick and helped you, you know? But obviously he wouldn't have known because his head was down, covered up when he was getting hammered, all right? Now, fast forward with Nathan, we went separate ways, yeah? And when we went separate ways, like I still considered him a friend because me and him, like he says on his podcast, we were always with girls going out. And Nathan was a big pretty boy back then. I wasn't, but he was. So wherever Nathan went, girls would follow. And my thing was when girls would reach out to me about certain things, because remember back in when I was young, you know how you watch movies and you always see that one person who's the go-to person, like for stolen goods? So yeah, that was me. I was like the go-to guy in high school where, so I used to go and steal cornettos from like Woolworths, yeah? And then I would go to high school and I would steal the cornettos that I had for $1 each. This was in Robinvale and Swan Hill. So I was always that guy that people would reach out to when they wanted stuff, yeah? And even like porn, like I never looked at it, never bothered with it, but guys would ask me for it as I was growing up, 16, 17. So that's what I used to do. I used to steal the porn and then sell it to them, you know, like still in the package. I would sell it to them like that. It would never be open. Magazine would come with a video and I'd sell it to them, all right? So yeah, that's who I was as a kid. I was the go-to guy. And so a lot of people from Fairfield knew me as the mobile phone guy. So I always had stolen mobile phones that I was selling, yeah? And it's nothing to be proud of. Like my thing back then is I did not care about anyone. So when I'm telling my story, it's to tell the younger generation who are living the life that I was living back then, where you don't care about anything, yeah? All I'm saying is to you is that's the life that I live. And now that I'm older and wiser, I realize that was a shit life, you know? If I had spent my time getting a degree, if I had spent my time working alongside my dad. So my dad is a first-class welder and a mechanic. And my dad is so upset today because me and my brothers didn't learn his craft. You know what I mean? My dad was like, far out. You know, I tried to teach you boys, but none of you boys wanted to take my trade, you know. All you boys wanted to do was be a gangster. And let me tell you something. Hey, can you decline this person that's calling? Let me tell you guys something about my dad, yeah? Before I reach out. My dad, he used to have this saying that he used to say to me and my brothers. He goes, you three always walk around, you know, talking it up like you're gangsters, yeah? He goes, let me tell you something. Like, if you're a gangster, you wouldn't be locked up. He goes, how you call yourself gangsters when you're always in and out of prison? He goes, you must be stupid gangsters. So remember, my dad, he can't speak English properly, yeah? So when he says this stuff in Samoan, it's when he's putting us on the dumb criminals. And he was right. My dad was right. My brothers and I were dumb criminals, but we were typical dumb islanders that didn't care because we were very violent kids, and anyone that stepped on our toes, we were willing to take them on, you know? We didn't care who they were. But moving back to Nathan Patterson, as we parted ways with each other, we came into contact again years later, like 10 years later. I hadn't seen him for a long time. And there's a gang inside prison called W2K. If you Google it, you'll see it, yeah? W2K stands for willing to ilk, all right? Now, this gang was very, very dangerous back in the 90s. Back when me and Nathan weren't even in prison. Back when me and Nathan were still little wannabes, all right? So this gang started way back in the 90s, and they started when they were friends with the Islanders. Now, the only reason why I know this is because I was with a lot of the main W2K guys at Junee prison when the racial wars had calmed down. But the difference is I was in the main and these W2K boys were in protection, all right? And the older Islander boys, which was Moses Toro, he was the one that ran all the Islanders back then. He was the one that explained to me that W2K first started when they were in the main, you know? And so when Nathan Patterson got on social media and explained that he was W2K, this is what people are telling me. I don't watch Nathan's TikToks. I've watched a few of his short clips, and I thought to myself, good on you, you know? But the thing is, when I met Nathan at Junee prison, he was in protection, all right? And I went off it. I gave him a bit of a lecture. I said, bro, what the hell are you doing in there? Like, remember, I know Nathan as being a soldier. He was with the biggest Asian gang in Fairfield at the time. And he wasn't one to take a backward step. Yeah, he was getting bashed that day by those three guys. But hey, who do you think you are? Well, you think you're going to take on three guys? So, like, I'm not going to belittle the bloke because he was getting hammered by three guys that day. Like, he did try to fight him, but he came out second best, all right? So what I'm saying is, when he was in the protection, I had to speak up because I considered him my mate. I said, what the hell are you doing in there? He explained to me that he had a few issues in the main, and then he had been jumped a few times, and then he went to protection, you know? And it wasn't him being a dog. He was no dog. It wasn't him bailing. There's this thing inside prison. It's called duty of care, all right? So remember, guys, everyone on this platform can talk all the rubbish that they want, yeah? But I will explain it properly, all right? Because a lot of people that's talking about jail rubbish don't understand it. They think they know, but they don't, all right? So this thing that's called duty of care, they can slap this duty of care on myself and they can put me in protection, all right? Let me explain something to you. There's a strong-willed man that would take on anyone, yeah? This man, he went through a lot of problems. I'm going to be talking about him very, very soon, yeah? His name is Julius Graf. Now, Julius Graf was also in protection. But guess what? It was for duty of care. For 3 years straight, Julius asked to go back into the main after he got jumped. but the Screws refused to let him go back into the main, all right? And Julius got sick of staying in friggin' segregation, sick of being on NA. He wasn't a person to take a backward step. He would take on anyone. He didn't care who it was. And when he got jumped by the best. These guys that jumped him were all islanders that had massive names, yeah? And when he got jumped, he got hammered, yeah? But guess what? He walked out of the yard. Yes, he got up and he walked out of the yard. Now let me see you walk out of the yard when the hardest islanders inside prison jump all over your head. This is what I'm saying. You can mock these people all you want, but if you don't know the story, then keep your mouth shut, all right? So Nathan Patterson was in protection. I asked him what happened. He explained it to me. But there was also an Aussie that was in protection who I know was actually a frontline soldier. Like, not just for the Aussies, but for the Islanders, yeah? This guy's name was Matt Massey. And let me tell you something. At Junee prison, yeah? When I was there, the Islander boys used to always talk rubbish about Matt Massey because he was in protection. And Moses To'o, who was leading the Islanders at the time, said to me, you know that guy? And I said, yeah, Uzo. He goes, and he's one of the strongest guys that I've come across when it comes to Aussie boys. Man, he got jumped pretty bad at Lithgow, and then he got jumped pretty bad at Goulburn. And all his friends left him with it, including all the Islanders that used to treat him like a brother. This is the reason why Matt Massey said, you know what? If you guys, I'm going to go to protection. The same thing that the brother Sella did when he was at Lithgow prison. Remember I told you guys the story about Sella? He got jumped and stabbed at Lithgow prison. And then when he went to Junee, he was sick and tired of it. He was like, I'm fighting freaking a racial war that I have nothing to do with. I've never taken drugs. I've never been to prison before. It's my first time in prison. And all of a sudden, I'm getting abstayed everywhere I go. And I'm having one-on-ones everywhere I go. Sick and tired of it. So he was like, stuff it. I'm going to go to protection where I'm happy and do my time peacefully and go home to my family. The same with Matt Massey. The same with Julius Graff. And the same with Nathan Patterson. They had to be in there due to duty of care. And if the Screws do not protect you when it comes to duty of care, then the state is held liable. So the correctional centers will be held liable if they knew that I was going to get jumped and they chucked me in the main. Compensation claim all over the place, all right? So I did not know that Nathan Patterson ended up joining W2K, but all the W2K boys that came later on and ended up in Goulburn, they were nutcases. Even though they were in protection, I remember, I think it was year 2015, yeah? And there was big outing stays at Goulburn. And when this happened, it was all in protection that it happened. And a Screw came to me and said to me, did you know that there is more abbing stays in protection than there is in the main? Now remember, the main is where all the gangsters are. Protection is where all the apis rays and all that stuff are, yeah? So these guys who considered themselves W2K, honestly, I don't know why they were playing gangster in the boneyard, because I'll be truthful with you guys. If I was in protection, if I was in the boneyard, I wouldn't even try to be a gangster. I'd be like, stuff that, I'm going to go sit in my corner, I'm going to train, but I'm going to put a hoodie over my head or a jumper over my head, and I just don't want anyone to see me again, you know? But these guys, I can honestly say I was there and they took care of their yard. They never let any apis rays or pedos come into their yard. So remember, where they are is protection, and then next to them is strict protection. Strict protection is where all these disgusting dogs are, yeah, including big snitches. And then obviously you got Supergrass, which is at Long Bay, and that's you can consider it strict protection. All right. Now, with Nathan Patterson joining W2K, I had no idea about this situation, but I do know that he had a lot of fights that happened in there. But the story that I'm about to finish off when it comes to Nathan Patterson is the W2K boys, when they attacked the protection boys that were belittling the Muslim religion. So a few of these W2K boys ended up becoming Muslim, yeah? They were considered reverts. And I remember I was sitting back that day and they were praying. And I didn't know what was going on. I was just kicking back, relaxing. And as I was relaxing, all I seen was the boys going, oi, 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 look. I turned my head and I just seen all these Aussie boys just start attacking the whole yard, yeah? This is in protection. And when they're attacking them, I don't mean like half-hearted attacking, throwing punches. Mate, they were going to town on all the people in the yard. So if you don't understand what I'm saying because you guys are 9 to 5 people who don't understand jail rubbish, I'm going to explain to you. So let's say this area here is a yard, yeah? So this means that the screws will let my unit into this yard and there will be about 30 boys. So on that day, there was about 20 to 30 boys in this yard, which is protection, where Nathan Patterson was, yeah? The Aussie boys just finished praying, doing their Muslim prayers. They got up, took off their caps, put away their carpets that they prayed on. They turned around, pulled out their ibshays, and then boom, just started attacking. And I'm telling you, all I seen was all the yard running around in circles, and they were getting attacked by these. I think there was about 7 boys that attacked their whole yard, and there was guys trying to climb the fence to get over the other side because they didn't want to get abstained. This is how bad it was in protection. You know what I mean? When I was there, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just the main where the wars was going on; it was also in protection, and it was. The things that were happening in there was actually 10 times worse than what was happening in the main. But you have to think about it. If you were in the main like Nathan Patterson and then you got put in protection, you will be so embarrassed, yeah? So what's gonna overcome your embarrassment is to make sure you clean up your yard. No apistrays, no pedos, nothing. Everyone in your yard is guys that had dramas over debt, got stood over, got extorted. So this is pretty much was their yard. Yes, it was protection. Yes, it was the boneyard, but not one person in this yard was a dog. They were all guys that had problems in the main, and then they either bailed to protection or the screws put them in there under duty of care. But at the same time, I'm going to explain something to you guys. I was also put under duty of care when I was at Silverwater after I knocked out one guy and their mates tried to attack me. Nothing happened. I came out on top, and then they said to me, because this gang had more numbers at Silverwater, they were gonna put me on this thing called PRNA, yeah? And all the lone wolves were in PRNA, all the finks were on PRNA, and then they were gonna put me on PRNA. I started going off. I said, if you put me on PRNA, you're gonna get trouble from me every single day. I don't care. You want to bring your gas, you want to bring your shields, it is what it is, let's do it. And then the officer was explaining to me, like, why are you so angry? I said, I don't want to be on freaking PRNA. And they said, mate, it's duty of care. We have to make sure that we protect you, you know. I said, I don't need your protection, get out of my face. I'm telling you, if you put me on PRNA, I'm going to make sure that I go off every single day, bring your gas and bring your shields. So this is what I'm also saying. Even though the officers were trying to put me on under duty of care and put me on PRNA, I refused it. I went on with it for 3 days. I kept refusing to go into my cell. I kept throwing my dinner at them. I kept going off, yeah? And it eventually came to the point where the deputy governor came down and he said to me, all right, listen, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to let you go back to the pod, and we're going to give you one more chance. If you attack anyone again, then we're going to make sure that we put you on NA, non-association, and you're never going to see a yard again until you get back with your boys. So, yeah, if you want to go on with you will get your freedom back. But at the same time, if something happens to you after the deputy governor or the governor allows you to go back into the main, you will get big compensation claim. They will be held liable if they do not protect you. All right. So to everyone that was asking stories about Nathan Patterson, there's the story right there. And that's the 100% truth. Yes, there's a lot more things that I will talk on when it comes to Nathan and other situations that occurred. But pretty much a lot of people were upset because he was online acting like a gangster. This is their words, not my words, all right? Because he was online acting like a gangster, and and they were upset because they were like, "You in the boneyard? Like, who are you to talk like a gangster? No one should listen to you. You're a boneyarder." Look, that's none of my business. You want to listen to the bloke, you listen to the bloke. But now that you understand exactly how it works inside prison, and obviously I explained to you big names such as Julius Graf, who also was in protection, but he went in there under duty of care. And let me explain something to you before I finish up on that. They actually Oche a gas canister at Julius's arm, and it bruised his whole arm. And the reason why they Oche this at him is because he was always refusing to go to protection. He always wanted to go back to the main, but all the heavy hitters back then were all in the main. And if Julius had gone back in there, he would have got jumped again. But my point is, the screws left him inside segregation under duty of care. And then 3 years later, that's when Julius was like, "Stuff it, guys, just put me in protection." He didn't care no more about his gang reputation. He knew who he was, and he chose to go because he was sick and tired of being alone inside segregation. Now, before we move forward to the final story, again, guys, I'm going to ask you guys to tap it up. You know, if you're loving these stories, if you deep down believe that the younger generation need to learn from my stories, then tap it up and help me reach this 1 million likes before I finish up the story. Oh, I love ya. Thank you, Wilhab. EXO. Whoa, that's like a full transformer. Love ya. Before I move on to the final story, my big love and respects to everyone that's been sending through gifts, and also a big love and respects to everyone that's been tapping it up. We're on 770,000 likes, and we got just under 300,000 to go. So come on, tap it up while I tell you this final story. And this final story is someone who was claiming they were Albanians. So it's called Albanian versus 212 Heat. And if you guys didn't know, 212 Heat is my actual blood brother, and he's my younger brother. Even though he's bigger than me, he's my younger brother. All right, my younger, bigger brother. So this is the story. Not long ago, and mind you guys, this story is not in prison. This story happened out here, my brother was with his son, all right? This old lady and her, I think it was her daughter or her niece, right? The girl was older, obviously. My brother and his son were walking along, and this lady was like speeding. And when she was speeding, she cut a corner and she almost hit my nephew. And that's my brother 212 Heat's son, When she almost hit my nephew, obviously for all of you guys who know my brother 212 Heat, and all of you guys who see his video clips behind me every week, you all know that my brother, he clicks it. And, you know, he's the type who doesn't take a backward step either, you know. Like, if you want it, he's going to be coming for you. Now, my brother has settled down a lot. He's a father now, and he's done his best to leave his violent past behind him, you know. And now that he's got his son, he's obviously very how do I put it, like very wise about the decisions he makes when it comes to speaking in front of his son and the way he carries himself in front of his son. Obviously, all of you guys know that kids, they have like a photographic memory, you know, like how you are is the way they're going to act, you know what I mean? And the way you carry yourself is the way they're going to carry themselves. So my brother is very, very aware of that, hence his settling down, right? So now remember, if you guys know my brother 212 Heat very well, you know that if someone's going to cut him, almost hit his son, he's going to click it, That's exactly what happened that day. My brother jumps in his car and he goes after this car, but he didn't know it was two females, all right? Once the car pulls over, like it was like not even far from my brother's apartment. So here's my brother's apartment and they lived like right next to them. So my brother drove after them, they pulled over, and then my brother jumped out and he walked straight up to the old lady and he goes, "Are you serious?" And she looked at him like really weird. She goes, "What?" He goes, "What do you mean what?" And my brother was like, "You almost hit my son." He goes, "You're freaking speeding in a, on a little road and you almost hit my son. Are you dumb?" And then the daughter come forward, but she didn't say nothing. Or I don't know if it's the daughter or the niece. And then the lady looked at my brother, and instead of apologizing for almost hitting my brother's son, guess what this old lady said? She goes, "You know who I am?" That's what she said. She goes, "Do you know who I am?" But, I was full cracking up laughing when my brother was telling me this story, And like, obviously, my brother, he's got cameras on his car. So everything is being filmed. This lady bridging up to 212. Who would pay for that footage? An old lady bridging up to 212. So here's this lady saying, "Do you know who I am?" And my brother looked at her and my brother was like, "Who are you?" And obviously my brother didn't want to be disrespectful because she's an old lady, And then she was like, "I'm Albanian." And then my brother looked at her and goes, "And what?" And she said, "What do you mean, and what?" Because Albanian, you know what our people do to people like you? And remember, you guys have seen my brother 212. He's a big boy. So obviously this lady is very short, small lady, old lady, and she's just does not care. And obviously, for those of you who were watching my live yesterday and the day before, you were asking me about Albanian gangs in Australia and Russian gangs that were coming to Australia. Well, here we go. You wanted a story about Albanians? Here's an old lady bridging up to 212 Heat, my brother, about her Albanian background, So my brother's like saying to her, what about Albanians? She's like, "You know what we do to people like you?" My brother goes, "What do you do?" And she goes, "I show you, I'm gonna call my son and I show you." And then my brother's like, "Call your son then." Then my brother turns around and tells his wife and his son, "Go inside the apartment." And she's like, yeah. And now remember, my brother's apartment is right next to this old lady's apartment. So obviously if she calls someone, it's someone that lives in her apartment, because she was bridging up so bad, saying that he's gonna come down now. So my brother stood there. My brother's like, "Call your Albanian son." Oh, my brother's kicking back, waiting. And this old lady, she didn't even flinch. She actually just stood there and just kept staring at my brother. And my brother was like ignoring her and trying to look to the left. But this lady just stood there, just kept looking at my brother, And she had made a phone call. And so my brother was waiting for this for this so-called Albanian family member that was going to come down. And what the old lady said to my brother that I didn't mention is she said, "I will call my son down here to teach you a lesson." That's exactly what she said, bro. This old lady, Now, when my brother's sitting there waiting, he actually said to me, I thought to myself, far out. Like, this lady is like so friggin' adamant that she was gonna do something. My brother was like, fuck, maybe she's gonna call all these Albanians to attack me, And so my brother was like, you know what? Stuff this. I'm not gonna do anything, I'm just gonna kick back and wait for all of them come, and we'll see what happens. What happens, Boom, out of nowhere, this big bloke comes storming down, and he was tatted up, and my brother said to me, this guy looked like a full bikie. And when he was walking down, he had this look on him like, who's effing around with my grandma or whoever it was to him, So soon as this guy comes towards my brother's standing there, and he goes, "What's going on?" And my brother goes, "What's going on?" And then he goes, "What's happening, bro?" And he goes, "Well, this old lady here said that you were going to come here and teach me a lesson." And then my brother takes off his jacket. He goes, "Come and teach me a lesson." Bro, the first thing this bloke does is goes, "What?" He goes, "What did you do?" He goes, "No, this is my freaking mother, my wife's grandma." That's what he started saying, yeah? And then my brother looked at him and goes, yeah, but are you going to teach me a lesson? He goes, brother, he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, look, he goes, don't take it to heart. She's an old lady, bro, and she comes like from Albania, like, you know, where all the heavies are from, you know, like, bro, I'll apologize on her behalf. Like she's very stubborn, bro. She's like this to me too. My brother was telling me far out. I just wanted to do something to this guy just to show this old lady that who she's messing with, you know, like this is Australia, this is not Albania. This is Australia, this is not Europe. You can't come around here trying to throw your weight around. Just like I told you guys yesterday on my live that in Australia, no gangs from overseas can come here and try to take over because all the gangs here have got it locked down. But obviously this old lady, she was so gangster. She had been through it. You can tell from the way she looks that she's been involved in everything, yeah? That she said it straight to my brother's face. And this is the first thing that made me laugh was the fact that my brother said he had footage of it. And the footage just shows this old lady giving my brother death stares and mouthing off at him. So yeah, the guy was a gentleman. The guy that she called down that was all tatted up, looking like a bikie. He was a gentleman. He shook my brother's hand and he apologized. And then it was left at that. And now every day they walk past each other. They greet each other with respect, you know. So yeah, just to finish this live off, I just want to like express to all you younger generation out there, you know, the stories that I told is not stories that I'm telling so you can see how gangster guys are or how ruthless gangs are.